Hello, everyone. Welcome to Liberal Tarot. I'm Sherry, a blue dot in a red state, utilizing tarot to offer insight into these very interesting times that we have going on here in the United States. So I'm really glad that you're here and welcome. The focus of today's reading is going to be the peace talks that Trump thinks that he's going to have with Putin there in Alaska on August 15th. Okay, so basically what I want to know is Trump going to taco on this? That's basically what I want to know. Midas Touch did a real. I'm pulling something up here. That's why I'm looking off to the side. But Midas Touch did a really good interview, or not overview, of these peace talks that are supposed to happen, and they shared this post from Jay in Kiev, and it is he nailed it. Just kind of like the cycle that we see with this. Trump sets a deadline. The deadline arrives. Putin offers meetings and negotiations. Meetings occur in which Putin says he wants all of Ukraine. Trump then tries to blame Ukraine. Trump sets a new deadline. Deadline passes. Wash, rinse, and repeat. Okay, so we are now to the meetings and negotiations. Okay, and so everyone, and it's being reported that Putin is going to say he wants these territories, and Trump will agree to that. But Zelensky is not going to agree to that at all. It's also being. I saw an interview on Jen Psaki with former ambassador Michael McFaul, and he said it's in the Ukrainians' constitution that like as far as peace negotiations go, you can't give up territories. I don't know exactly how that's worded, but that's the gist of this. So according to their constitution, even if Zelensky wanted to agree to that, he can't. Okay, because in a democracy, you actually follow, something called the Constitution and laws. Imagine that. That's a foreign concept to Trump and ilk. So I just want to look into kind of a base reading of what's going to happen in those talks on Friday. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of expecting just, that wash, rinse, and repeat is what I'm expecting. But I'll do the reading and we'll see, like what comes up. So with that being said, I'm getting ready to jump in, but I want to tell you guys, I got a new tarot deck. This is the Radiant Wise Tarot. And I know the box is backwards, but yeah, what do I say? Radiant Wise Tarot. And what I really like about this, I love the colors. They're just such a lot more vibrant colors than the typical Rider-Waite, and also that it takes up the whole face here is the entire card. And if you notice, it's very similar to my Morgan Greer deck, where there's no borders, and that I really like cards that don't have the borders on them. So I mean, to the point where I okay, I'll tell you guys this real quick. I've got these setting here, but my Nigel Jackson deck, I bought these just right before they were going out of print. They were becoming difficult to find. I should have bought like a pile of them because this is one of my favorite decks. And so I bought this one. You can't even get it. Well, you can get it, but you buy them used, and it's like $100 to $200. I mean, they're expensive. I'm not buying them, but this deck that I got, before they went fully out of print, you couldn't really get them. I cut the sides off. Okay. So, yeah, I have a Nigel Jackson deck that I went through and cut off all the borders on. So I know people are probably like, oh, you did what to a Nigel Jackson deck? And it's like, but I like it that way. So anyway, I don't use this deck very often, mainly because of, I can't replace it. So, but I will be using those probably this week. I'll pull those out and do a reading with those. So back to this, the base reading into these peace talks that Trump and Putin are going to have without President Zelensky. Some peace talks there. You don't have, the other party there, but okay. So just base reading. Also, I will say, as I'm shuffling these, I haven't quite got this deck completely broken in yet. So, they're a little bit thicker. The cardstock's a little bit thicker, and they're a little bit harder to shuffle. But and they're slick, and they like fly everywhere. You should have seen when I first got these out. I mean, the cards were flying everywhere. So, but I was excited to use these. So I wanted to use them. Base reading into these so-called peace talks. Okay, entertainment purposes only. The very center of this for the here and now is holding on to what we have. Okay, that is just very clear here. That Four of Pentacles. How is it that Russia can hold on? How is it that they can get more land? Okay, they want more of that Ukrainian territory. The challenge is they do not have the military presence to be able to do that. They don't have enough. They don't have enough soldiers. They don't have enough weapons. I'm just seeing this as like, this is kind of like playing. They're playing at war because they just don't have what they need to win this. The only way they're going to get more territory is if the United States sides with them. Okay. If we start sending, military support to Russia, that's the only way that they are going to be able to hold on to any territories that they have occupied there in Ukraine. Okay. And even some of the peace talks, they were reporting that Putin is asking for territories that they're not even occupying. Okay. So the options are charging ahead, being reckless. Okay, reckless action. This is not, these two cards together are not a military. This is not a mighty military campaign by any stretch of the imagination. This is, you're playing at it. You're not thinking things through. It's like, I want what I want and I'm going to go take it. And I don't care about the destruction behind me. This is someone who just races off, half-cocked, not even thinking about what they're doing. Okay. And I'm definitely feeling that with Russia. So they're getting desperate. Okay, they don't have the military support that they need in order to win, and they're being really reckless. Okay, and once again, trying to hold on. Not to mention their economy is suffering right now too. Okay, the base of this, the foundation of this is know when to walk away. Boy, that was just the big message that I got. First thing I saw was they need to understand when to walk away. Okay, the recent influences. Ooh, the devil. This is going to be trying to get the United States to side with them. And the American people are not falling for that at all. The majority of Americans know we don't side with Russia. We side with democracy and not with Putin. So this is the recent influences. Like Trump has got himself chained to this just toxic relationship. Okay, and I'm also going to laugh because of South Park's treatment of Trump with the devil, and that just makes me smile. And remember, we are going to laugh at Trump anytime we can. Anytime there is the tiniest opening, we're going to do it. So just, when this card comes up, you just go right ahead and think of Trump's relationship with Satan in bed there in South Park. Okay, and it's okay for you to laugh. The potential, the outcome of this is the Four of Swords. I don't think there's not going to be anything come out of this. Okay. Russia is losing this war. Russia knows they're losing this war, and Zelensky's not going. He is absolutely not going to agree to anything. So this is the actions of desperate men. That's what this is showing me. It's like we're trying to hold on. We have no clue what we're doing. Now, I think that at one point, Putin probably did know what he was doing, but I know he's been having, there's various health reports, health reports that he's not doing well. But just this, it's like this blind ambition of, I want what I want. I don't care what I have to do. Give me what I want. And just this reckless action that he's taking. I mean, I really think that he thought that Trump was going to be like an ally in this, but that's not coming to fruition at all. And this, I'm wondering, like this, the foundation of this is walking away. I'm kind of curious about that walking away. What is that? It could be walking away. It could be like trying to take this in a new direction. You know, how does it's like, how can they walk away without having to give up any of their land? They want Ukraine to give up land, but it's like, honestly, Ukraine is doing better than they are in this. So, oops. I want to know about this walking away. Just a little bit of clarification on that. Okay, and that clarification of walking away is charging forward, you know, almost like a new path forward. He feels very justified in doing this, major arcana here. And what agreements can we come to? Yeah, I think that this is, he's trying to, he's trying to strong arm Trump into being more on, sorry, excuse me, I was getting ready to sneeze and I couldn't even say I'm getting ready to sneeze. He's trying to get Trump to be a stronger partner, a stronger commitment, but it's not happening. It's like the American people will not allow it. And Trump is so vain that he's not going to give in to Putin because he knows his approval ratings will go down. With this, I know that there's, you know, kind of rumors and wonderings of, does Putin have dirt on Trump? Does he have blackmail? And is this part of that? Like, don't forget, Dawn, we were partners in this going forward. And actually, now that I look at this, partners, you know, this is partners, and partners. And if you remember too, in that energy reading for the what was that, the last week of August, I kept getting all the partnerships. So I just kind of wanted to keep that in mind and point that out. I have no idea if those two things are connected yet, but I just, whenever I notice things that stand out in the card, it's like, oh, I'm noticing, you know, all this partnership. So I really do think that this is old Vlad going here, hey, I thought we were buddies. I thought, you know, we had these agreements and now you need to like pay. I'm expecting you, you know, like if I got you into office, you know, then I'm expecting you to hold up your end of the bargain. That's more what's coming up here is that. So is what's going to happen when Trump doesn't hold up his end of the bargain? Because Trump never pays his debts. So this, whenever it doesn't happen, I want to know, what's Putin going to do with this? When it doesn't happen. Magician, I have, you know, putting all things out there on the table, making a choice for Russia. Putin is going to do whatever he has to for Russia. And, you know, the motherland, Russia, here, making choices. And he doesn't really care, like, he doesn't care who he hurts, as long, or, you know, what he does, who he throws under the bus, as long, and he's doing this all in the name of Russia. Okay, which, whew, that's, I think the Russian people would probably have, a different opinion on that, just like the people in the United States have a different opinion on what Trump is doing, all in the name of our country. And so the Magician, what is this putting everything out on the table? Is this evidence? Is this, you know, blackmail? What is this that Putin is trying to create here with Trump? And with that, big feels. You know, and you remember here we have these Two of Cups also, which was, you know, agreements. So, you know, we've got big feels, agreements that, you know, we had talked about for our countries. You know, I scratch your back, you scratch my back. Well, now, you know, it's time for Trump to pay up, and karma's a bitch. Ooh, I wonder. I am curious. Let me see here what I got here. I'm going to ask, is Putin going to be releasing? The only thing I can think of is, oh, well, if Russia was somehow involved in the election, you know, interference, election fraud, or do they have dirt on the Epstein files? Like, what is this dirt what is it that Putin could, you know, these agreements that he could release, that he's going to be threatening to release? What exactly are these agreements? Okay, and as I was shuffling, I'm looking at these cards, and I know there's a little bit of glare for you guys, but these colors, these cards are so fantastic. They're just gorgeous. Okay, sorry. I was just like going, these are so pretty. I'm getting kind of lost in the cards here. Okay, so the Two of Cups. What are these agreements? Vladimir Putin, I am the leader. I offered you something of substance. Probably I helped get you into power. Okay. Power, and very quickly, the oligarchs are expecting something. Yeah, agreements to be, these agreements. This is also my Epstein files, and bringing it to I think that, okay, well, I would not be surprised in the least if, Putin doesn't have some kind of Epstein file, something on Trump, mainly because I'm just kind of getting like this here, this, and did I get, no, the Lover's card didn't come up. Okay. This card in Rider-Waite and the Lover's card looks very similar, but I got, this is like the Minor Arcana kind of version of the Lover's card. It's more like relationships, agreements, but it's also at the beginning stages is what this Two of Cups is. So it's like Putin here, they are tied together. It's like they have sold their souls to the devil. And in these agreements, these Faustian agreements that were made, and now Putin is expecting payment. And he is, let's see, yeah, he's expecting payment. Oh, and it was this one, and quickly. Okay. And he is like, I think he absolutely, oh, yeah, I did get the Lover's card here. Okay. I'm having like two thoughts at the same time. Yeah, it's like he is very willing. And whenever I asked what it was, this is my Elon Musk card. It's the oligarch's card. So it also could be like he's got the goods, he's got the receipts, he's got the evidence that he is willing to release the agreements. And that was my second. I was like, I've been having too many thoughts here. The agreements have now come to fruition. Okay, these agreements that were made in the past, he's now expecting payment. Okay, and he can end Trump. And then also what came up was that Wheel of Fortune, which is the good luck card. I always say it's the Jupiter card, so it's actually good luck. However, in this case, it's also karma. Like Putin did Trump a solid, so that was like that Jupiter piece. But now payment is expected. Okay, and then whenever I was saying the Lover's card, I just want to show you something with this. These two cards. And I always say, like when I'm using my Morgan Greer, I'm always like, in the Rider-Waite, these two cards are so similar. Here we go. This is what they are. You have two people here of their own free will. Okay. And then you have two people here joined by the devil. Okay. So think of this as like higher energy and lower energy. And if I remember it correctly, aren't these both 6 and 10, so 1 plus 5 is 6. So they both carry that 6 energy. And if you remember, like that 6 of Cups is like the nostalgia card. So yeah, that's those cards. I just want to point that out. I like those two cards together. So what it's looking like is Putin's calling in the payment. I was gonna say it's not favors. It's like it's more than that, because I was getting ready to say like Putin is calling in the favor. However, it's like there's no favors here. It's like Putin is like, I got you into office. This is the blackmail that I'm going to release if you don't do what I say. And I'm going to ask, is Trump going to do what he says? Because there's nothing here showing that Trump is going to comply with that. If anything, this was the outcome card here. The 4 of Swords, which is nothing happens. Okay. That nothing comes out of these talks as far as Trump capitulating to what Putin is asking. Okay, make sure. I don't like to read reverse cards, so I'm just making sure I got them all. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Let's get these shuffled in here really well. So just yes, no, 3 cards. Is Trump going to capitulate? And with that, he's battle weary. He knows that he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. He's going to try to talk his way out of this. He's going to be like, oh, well, I'll say this. Well, the messaging. This is all about talking and messaging. And then, he's not. So, and if anything, Trump's feeling stuck. It's like he's really stuck. He's not knowing how he's going to get through this. Oh, well. So what comes from this? Will Putin release whatever he's got? Yeah. He has every intention of going forward with this, drunk on power. He sees Trump as drunk on power and getting ready to reap what he sows. The other side of this is like this. Honestly, if I was reading this like in the higher energy, it'd be like this great partnership going forward, very happy, on the same page. And yeah, this is something that you're planting seeds now to watch for, like things to grow in the future. With it being Trump and Putin, it's like, as I said, this Faustian agreement that they made, being drunk on power, and now, buddy, it is time to pay up. And we know that, Putin didn't do this out of the kindness of his heart. Having several thoughts right now, but I want to know what I'm going to go ahead and ask, like, what is Zelensky going to do? If it's anything short of Russia get the hell out of our country, he's not going to agree to it. So I just want to know, like, what is Zelensky gonna do with this? As I said, it's against their constitution to even give up any territory. So from President Zelensky's viewpoint, what is he thinking and the outcome of these talks between Putin and Trump? Okay. And with Zelensky, he too wants to hold on. Now, you notice that this is the same card you saw me shuffle. He's wanting to hold on to his territory also. Okay, wanting to hold on. Both countries are wanting to have the exact same goal. However, Ukraine is wanting to hold on to their actual territory. It's been reported, in fact, I think it was Ambassador McFall said that Putin's already had maps printed up. And it's part of the Russian propaganda of like, see, we already have these maps. I'm just trying to get the territory that belongs to us. It's like, okay, just because you have a map that says, Gulf of America, Russia there, then that doesn't make it so. Okay, playing there on Trump saying, just because you declare something doesn't make it an actual fact. Okay, so from Zelensky's point of view, he too is trying to hold on to the land and the territory of his country. The challenge, oh geez, I can't even imagine, is these agreements that Trump and Putin are putting together. That's the challenge. And once again, remember, these talks are at the beginning. I don't see this as binding. It's like they're just talks. Okay, there's nothing binding in what's happening on Friday. Okay, the options, so Zelensky's options, the Tower card, he is not going to do this. I'm going to put more cards out on that, okay? I think that the options are the shit hits the fan. I wonder if this is Zelensky knowing all he has to do is sit back because he knows that Trump's getting ready to get, kind of booted out there. So the past experiences, this back and forth, okay? And, President Zelensky is not a stupid man. He understands, the cycle of what this is. So, are they going to taco? I think so. The feeling of Trump tacoing on this, it feels like that's what he's going to do. But I do really feel from those other cards that Putin's about had it with him. Okay. And I'm wondering if this isn't like, Putin's had it with Trump. So let's see what else. The recent influences is Zelensky knows this war is a burden, but it's a burden that he is happy to shoulder for his country. Okay, and he knows he's also got allies to help him with this. The EU is definitely allies. So I don't want to leave. I think Australia is too. So, I'm just going to say world countries, countries around the world are supporting his cause. So it's a burden that he can shoulder. Okay. And then the potential for the outcome is rash decisions, rash action. Now, this is from his point of view. So whatever he's seeing like things falling apart and this rash action. And I was asking about like from what his viewpoint is from the talks. Okay, so let me put out some more cards on the Tower and the Knight of Swords. Just what is this? Yeah, and this reading is running a little long, so let's see here. I'll start getting this wrapped up with this Tower and Knight of Swords. What can we expect with that? Security for his country, stepping back and waiting to see, reaping what is sown, and messages coming through. I honestly think that this is, okay, let me put these over here. From Zelensky's point of view, he is going to hold on to the country. He's not giving up any territory. These agreements, the challenge are the agreements that Trump and Putin are making. He's not included in on this. It's a burden, and he is also willing to shoulder the burden of being the leader during this time and not giving up any territory. I think the feeling I'm getting is like he knows that Trump is on his way out. And so I think he's just like, okay, let's go ahead and wait and see what's released. What information, this is the 9 of Pentacles. I always see this very similar as like the Queen of Pentacles. This is literally the wealthy woman. Okay. This could also mean a country. This could be the receipts. This could be like doing what you need to do to take care of your country. Okay. And that he's going to do that. He is not racing to any conclusion to this. He's willing to ride this out. You also have, he's also seeing it's like he sees the writing on the wall. He knows that Trump is not long for office. He knows that, this irrational action that they're taking is not something he's going to fall for. He's going to be patient, and that the messaging that comes out. So I think it's almost like he's just he's waiting, going, yeah, go ahead. Release whatever dirt you have. I'll sit here and wait because I can. Yeah. So I don't think President Zelensky is not at all, to say he's not concerned about the talks. It's not that he's not concerned. He's not expecting there to be peace talks out of this, okay, in any way that's going to benefit him. So he's not going to agree to anything. He's shoring up his support from other world leaders. And I think he's kind of like, I just have to wait for, like this for Trump to implode. That's, he just has to wait for Trump to implode and then go from there. So, yeah, and it looks like Putin is about had it with Trump. I mean, haven't we all? And, yeah, if he's got the goods. What was it that Trump told Russia? If you're listening, if you have, Hillary's emails, if you find them, well, Russia, if you're listening. So it's kind of like that kind of thing. And I think that Putin is going to definitely be holding that over Trump's head on the meetings on Friday. And the other thing that I consistently get with I'm just going to put this out there for the Epstein files is Trump is going to be confirmed in an undeniable way that he, yes, is in those files, but it's not coming from our government. I also got the Ghislaine Maxwell is going to confirm that. That's a whole other thing. I've done that reading before. And so that has to do with Project 2025 offering her a better deal than what Trump has offered her. So that's where I think that if she confirms it, that's where that piece comes in. So yeah, I don't think that anything when it comes to peace talks, nothing of importance is going to come out of that piece. What's going to come out of it is that Putin has had it with Trump, and I think he's getting closer to making good on his threats of releasing whatever blackmail he has. So, okay. Thank you very much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I will put another reading up here for you to check out and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next reading. Have a good day.